There is an uncomfortable truth that almost no doctor tells you after 60, and it is so important that it can completely change the way you understand your health. Walking every day is not enough to keep your legs strong or to guarantee your independence. It may sound contradictory, because for years we have been told that walking is the key to aging well, but here is the problem: while you rely on that habit, your body could be silently losing the most important ability to remain autonomous. Let me ask you something. Have you ever sat in a chair and, when trying to stand up, felt that slight hesitation in your body? That instant when you need to lean forward, push yourself, or use your hands without even thinking about it. That moment, although it may seem insignificant, is not normal for your age. It is an early sign that your muscles are losing functional strength, the kind that actually protects you from a fall. And here comes the most unsettling part: most people do not detect it until it is too late. They keep walking every day, convinced that they are doing the right thing, while their balance, stability, and explosive strength gradually deteriorate. But today you are going to discover something different. You will not only understand why this happens, but you will also learn the exact exercise that science has identified as one of the greatest predictors of independence in real life. A simple, everyday movement that can make the difference between continuing to take care of yourself, or starting to depend on others sooner than you imagine. Walking is, without a doubt, one of the most solid pillars of health at any age. On a physiological level, it stimulates the cardiovascular system, improves insulin sensitivity, promotes blood circulation, and helps maintain a healthy body weight. In fact, multiple studies have shown that people who walk regularly have a lower risk of heart disease, hypertension, and cognitive decline. But here is where a key nuance appears that is almost never explained. Not all types of physical stimulus generate the same adaptations in the body. Walking is a cyclical, repetitive movement with low mechanical load, which means that the body adapts quickly and stops receiving enough stimulus to continue developing strength. In simple terms, it is excellent for maintaining what you already have, but not for recovering what you are losing over time. And that detail is what makes the difference between aging actively or aging dependently. Because while you walk, your muscles work within a very limited range, without requiring deep stability, without demanding power, and without significantly challenging your balance. From the age of 60, a well-documented phenomenon in scientific literature called sarcopenia occurs, which involves the progressive loss of muscle mass and quality, especially of fast-twitch fibers, type 2. These fibers are responsible for generating explosive strength, reacting to a loss of balance, and stabilizing the body in unexpected situations, such as a stumble or a sudden change of direction. The most concerning part is that these fibers are the first to deteriorate when they are not used specifically. And here is the critical point: walking does not activate them significantly. That is why a person can walk every day and still experience weakness in the quadriceps, stiffness in the hips, and a progressive decline in their ability to stand up, climb stairs, or maintain balance. This mismatch between perceived activity and real capacity is what explains why so many falls occur in seemingly active people. The solution is not to stop walking, but to understand its limitations and strategically complement it with exercises that do activate functional strength, stability, and muscle power. Only in this way can you send the right signal to the body to preserve, and in many cases recover, the capacities that truly sustain your independence. Exercise 1. Standing up from a chair. The movement of standing up from a chair, known in the clinical field as sit-to-stand, is one of the most solid and widely used indicators for evaluating functional capacity in older adults. It is no coincidence. This seemingly simple gesture integrates multiple systems at once: muscular, neuromuscular, joint, and balance, and reflects with great precision a person's real level of independence. In fact, tests such as the 30-second chair stand test or the 5-time sit-to-stand are widely used in geriatrics to predict the risk of falls, frailty, and loss of autonomy. The reason is clear: to stand up without assistance, you need to generate enough strength in the quadriceps and glutes, stabilize the trunk through the core, coordinate the forward shift of the center of mass, and maintain balance during the transition from sitting to standing. When any of these components fails, the body seeks compensations, using the hands, pushing with momentum, or avoiding the movement altogether. And here is the key point that most people do not know: Every time you perform this movement with poor technique or with external assistance, you are reinforcing that weak pattern, but every time you do it correctly, you are training one of the most important movements for your functional survival. That is why, more than an exercise, it is a constant evaluation of your real physical condition. Proper execution turns this everyday movement into an extremely powerful strengthening tool. Everything begins with the starting position. Sit on the edge of a firm chair, with your feet slightly wider than hip width apart and turned slightly outward, which facilitates better hip activation. By crossing your arms over your chest, you eliminate the possibility of using momentum from your hands, forcing your legs to generate the force. Then, by slightly leaning your torso forward, you shift your center of gravity over your base of support, preparing your body for the ascent. From there, the objective is clear: push through your heels and raise your body in a controlled manner over 2 to 3 seconds, without bouncing or using momentum. At the top, contracting the glutes is not a minor detail. This action improves full hip extension and reinforces lumbar stability. But where strength is truly built is in the eccentric phase. Descend slowly, over at least 3 to 5 seconds, controlling every centimeter of the movement until you gently touch the seat. This controlled descent trains your ability to decelerate, which is essential for going down stairs or sitting safely. The most common mistake, dropping down, eliminates much of the benefit and increases stress on the joints. Starting with 3 sets of 5 repetitions allows for progressive adaptation, and using a cushion to raise the height is a smart strategy to reduce initial difficulty without compromising technique. What is extraordinary about this exercise is that, in a single movement, it activates the quadriceps, glutes, core, and stabilizing muscles, improves intermuscular coordination, and trains dynamic balance. It is, in essence, a complete strength workout hidden within a daily action, and mastering it can be one of the most decisive decisions for preserving your independence over the years. Exercise 2. Seated leg extensions. The quadriceps are not only the largest muscle group in the front of the thigh, but also one of the main contributors to the functional stability of the entire body. From a biomechanical point of view, their function goes far beyond extending the leg. They act as a shock-absorbing system that cushions impact when walking, stabilizes the knee when standing, and allows control of the body's descent in everyday movements such as sitting down, going downstairs, or bending. With aging, these muscles undergo a significant loss of mass and strength, a process accelerated by specific inactivity, which directly compromises the integrity of the knee joint. In fact, multiple studies in geriatrics have shown that quadriceps weakness is closely associated with a higher risk of falls, joint pain, and loss of independence. When this muscle cannot generate enough tension, the knee loses its ability for active stabilization, forcing other structures, ligaments and tendons, to bear loads they are not designed for, increasing wear and instability during movement. And here is the critical point: walking, although it involves the quadriceps, does so within a limited range and without enough intensity to stimulate real strength improvement. That is why many people who walk daily still feel weakness when standing up or insecurity when going downhill. Seated leg extensions are a direct and highly effective intervention to reverse this deterioration, because they isolate the quadriceps and force it to work through its full range of motion under control. Technical execution is what determines their impact. By sitting slightly leaned back, you activate the core and stabilize the pelvis. By extending the leg until it is parallel to the ground, you bring the quadriceps to its point of maximum contraction. And by holding that position for 3 to 5 seconds, you generate isometric tension that recruits muscle fibers that normally remain inactive in everyday movements. This type of sustained contraction has been shown to be especially effective in improving neuromuscular connection, that is, the brain's ability to efficiently activate the muscle in real situations. But the real change occurs in the eccentric phase. Lowering the leg slowly over at least 3 seconds creates a high-quality stimulus that deeply strengthens the muscle and improves its braking capacity, essential for preventing falls. Performing between 10 and 12 repetitions per leg, consistently, not only increases strength but also improves joint stability and confidence in movement. It is at this point that many people begin to notice a tangible change. Standing up stops being an effort and becomes a natural movement again. And precisely when you begin to regain that basic strength, that is when you are ready to move on to the most important exercise of all, the one that integrates everything above into a single functional movement and determines, with surprising precision, your real level of independence. Exercise 3. Seated march. The loss of hip mobility does not occur suddenly. It is a progressive and silent process that often goes unnoticed until it begins to affect the way you walk. From a biomechanical perspective, the hip is one of the most important joints in the human body, as it connects the trunk with the legs and acts as a central axis for stability, coordination, and movement generation. However, over the years and with a decrease in adequate stimuli, the muscles responsible for hip flexion, mainly the iliopsoas and the rectus femoris, begin to weaken and shorten. This has direct consequences on gait. Steps become shorter, the feet lift less off the ground, and the risk of dragging them increases significantly, which raises the likelihood of tripping. Studies in older adult populations have shown that a reduced range of hip flexion is directly related to a higher risk of falls, even in people who consider themselves active. The problem is that walking, although useful, does not require a full range of motion in this joint, since during normal gait only a fraction of the total capacity of the hip flexors is used. This causes that, over time, the body forgets how to move with amplitude and control, compromising both mobility and stability. This is where the seated march becomes an extraordinarily effective and, at the same time, underestimated tool. This exercise not only reactivates the hip flexors in a controlled environment, but also improves neuromuscular coordination and the ability to lift the feet with precision, something crucial to avoid tripping in daily life. Proper execution makes all the difference. You should sit on the edge of a chair, keep your back straight, and lift one knee toward your chest as high as possible while keeping the foot in dorsiflexion, that is, with the toes pointing toward the shin. This technical detail is not minor, as it also activates the ankle muscles and improves foot control during the swing phase of walking. By alternating the legs in a rhythmic and controlled manner, you generate a movement pattern that mimics walking, but with greater amplitude and muscle activation. Performing 20 repetitions per leg not only strengthens the muscles involved, but also retrains the nervous system to execute safer and more efficient movements. In addition, recent research has shown that this type of exercise can improve hip flexibility in just a few weeks, increasing range of motion and reducing joint stiffness. Integrating the seated march into your daily routine will not only help you walk better, but it can be one of the most effective interventions to regain confidence in your steps and significantly reduce the risk of falls. Exercise 4. Seated heel raises. The so-called second heart is not an exaggerated metaphor, but a physiological concept supported by decades of research in hemodynamics. The calf muscles, especially the soleus and the gastrocnemius, play a crucial role in venous return, that is, in the process by which blood is pumped back to the heart from the lower extremities. Unlike the arterial system, which has the pressure generated by the heart, the venous system depends largely on muscle contraction to overcome gravity. Every time you activate the calves, they compress the deep veins of the legs and push blood upward, preventing its accumulation in the ankles and feet. This mechanism is especially relevant in older adults, where the efficiency of venous return decreases, promoting swelling, a feeling of heaviness, coldness in the extremities, and even increasing the risk of venous insufficiency. Studies published in journals such as European Journal of Applied Physiology have shown that repeated contractions of the soleus muscle in a seated position can significantly increase blood flow velocity, improving tissue oxygenation and reducing venous stasis. But what is most interesting is that this benefit is not only circulatory. By constantly activating this musculature, you are also stimulating neuromuscular connections that are essential for balance and stability when walking or changing position. Now, what makes seated calf raises especially powerful is not only their simplicity, but their ability to target multiple systems at once when performed correctly. The key lies in the technique. Sit upright, with both feet firmly placed on the ground, slowly raise your heels until reaching the maximum possible contraction, hold that position for at least 2 seconds to ensure full activation of the muscle fibers, and then lower them in a controlled manner over another 2 or 3 seconds. This eccentric phase, the slow descent, has been shown to be particularly effective in improving muscle strength and local endurance, as it generates greater mechanical tension in the fibers. Performing between 15 and 20 repetitions not only activates circulation, but also improves calf muscle endurance, something fundamental for maintaining stability when standing for prolonged periods or reacting to small imbalances. In addition, this exercise has a strategic advantage: it can be performed anywhere, without joint impact and without risk, making it an ideal tool for people with reduced mobility or in the early stages of physical reconditioning. Integrating it consistently into your daily routine will not only relieve symptoms such as heaviness in the legs, but will also lay a solid foundation for more complex movements that truly determine your functional independence. Walking will continue to be one of the best decisions you can make for your overall health, but it is essential to understand its limits if you truly want to protect your independence in the long term. From a scientific perspective, physical autonomy does not depend solely on cardiovascular endurance, but on the ability of the neuromuscular system to generate force, react to unexpected stimuli, and maintain stability in real-life situations. This is where a key concept in healthy aging comes into play: functional capacity. This is not measured by how many steps you take per day, but by how well you can stand up, turn, stop, balance, and support your own body weight under control. Studies in exercise physiology and geriatrics have shown that programs that combine strength, eccentric control, and functional pattern training have a significantly greater impact on fall prevention than aerobic activity alone. This is because they strengthen the connections between the brain and muscles, improve intermuscular coordination, and restore rapid response capacity, which is exactly what you need when you lose balance. In other words, it is not just about moving more, but about moving better and with intention. And the most powerful part of all this is that the human body retains its ability to adapt even at advanced ages. With the right stimulus, it is capable of generating new neural connections, increasing muscle strength, and improving stability in a matter of weeks. The real advantage is that you do not need access to a gym, sophisticated machines, or complex routines to achieve this. Current evidence supports that simple exercises, well executed and performed consistently, can generate profound improvements in strength, balance, and confidence in movement. Movements such as calf raises, seated marching, leg extensions, and especially standing up from a chair, act directly on the systems that determine your real independence. The only thing required is commitment and precision, understanding that each repetition is a signal you send to your body to rebuild, strengthen, and protect you. It does not matter if you start with difficulty or if you need to adapt the exercises. What matters is to begin and sustain the process. Because every day you train correctly, you reduce the risk of falls, improve your mobility, and increase your ability to keep living on your own terms. This is not just an exercise approach, it is a strategy to preserve your quality of life. If this type of content brings you value and you want to keep learning how to stay strong, agile, and independent over the years, like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and become part of this community focused on smart aging. And now I want you to pause for a moment and try it for yourself. Can you stand up from a chair without using your hands and with full control? Write it in the comments, because that answer can say much more about your physical future than you imagine. Your body and your health will thank you. Thank you for watching this video and see you soon.